What's good, YouTube? It's your favorite roommates, and today we are reacting to the biggest things ever stolen. Did you ever steal? I'm snitching.
I've stolen before.
Me too.
Hey, man. Shit, got to do what you got to do when you ain't got the bread, man. Don't steal, though. But, like,
no, don't steal. We're not.
Like,
promoting
nigga, I was
stealing.
hungry. I ain't had no, you know what I'm saying? You know. But don't steal. It's not worth it.
Bank robber. These are all minded matters of casual thieves with no imagination. It takes a truly daring thief to go bigger. Today, I'll be sharing with you the people who went above and beyond, pushing the boundaries to the absolute maximum of just what exactly can be pilfered. Grab your loot bag and put on a balaclava as I explore some of the biggest things ever stolen. Number 10. Easy Air Miles. May 25th, 2000.
You thought
they Air Miles. A whole plane? Yeah, I'm like, how the fuck you get away with that? And where did you land? Cause they tracing it.
3. An entire Boeing 727 was stolen right off the runway.
That's crazy.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was. I thought somebody was like stealing miles. Like, you know how you get miles when you take a trip. I thought somebody was like over it. You know what I'm saying?
Way of Quatro de Fevereiro Airport in Luanda, Angola. It did not have clearance to fly, it did not communicate with air traffic control, and it has never been seen again. It just veered precariously onto the runway and took off without any lights on. The FBI and the CIA searched the globe for years and couldn't find so much as an in-flight peanut. 2 men were seen boarding the plane before it took off. American pilot and flight engineer Ben C. Padilla, and a mechanic from the Congo named John M. Matantu. Neither of the men were ever certified to fly a 727, but both had been helping to carry out renovations on the plane in the months prior. Padilla's sister has stated that she believes he was somehow coerced into stealing the plane and is now held against his will somewhere. Others have speculated, based on the fact that Padilla was previously found guilty of fraud, that the theft was a money-making scheme. The mystery, to this day, remains unsolved.
The fact that they didn't even find the plane at all.
Yeah, like, still not finding the plane is crazy. Like, it don't
Where can you hide a...
Where you hiding a 787?
That's crazy.
Don't it got that little black box in it that, like, tracks the plane? How was that? I don't know.
Number 9. A bare bones operation. In a bizarre court case known as United States versus one Tyrannosaurus bataar skeleton, the matter in question was a stolen dinosaur. The ordeal began when Florida man Eric Procopi brought the fossilized skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus bataar, a relative of the Rex we know and love.
Run that back.
The fossilized skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus bataar, a relative of the Rex we know and love, from Mongolia to the UK, and then to the US. In customs, he claimed that the bones came from UK soil. On reaching the US, Procopi auctioned off the dino for over $1 million. However, when the Mongolian government became aware of the dinosaur's true origin, they prevented the sale being completed. According to Mongolian law, fossils are culturally significant and their removal without official approval is illegal. As a result, Procopi was arrested on counts of conspiracy to smuggle illegal goods, possession of stolen property, and giving false statements. He went to jail for 3 months, and the skeleton went back to Mongolia.
3 months?
3 months is crazy. I would expect like maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
You stole a whole skeleton.
3 months. That's insane.
Hey, man.
Some people get off easy, and you know what I mean by some people.
So fucking easy. Why let that been a nick?
For something that's been dead for millions of years, the Tyrannosaurus bataar had quite the trip. Number 8. Crime of the century. Stealing a tree is never an easy task. But if this perplexing case from 2012 is anything to go by, the older the tree, the harder it is to steal. Indeed, it took a lot of planning.
What I will say is there's a tree in Charleston. I think it's called like the angel oak tree. Like people used to get married under it, but now they're not able to touch it. It's like one of the oldest trees in America or some shit like that. And it's fucking beautiful. It's huge. Excuse me. But like, I don't, who just like, what do you do with it after that?
Right.
You can't sell it. Right. You can't replant the bitch. What are we talking about?
And patience for poachers to steal one particular red cedar tree from Vancouver Island, just off the southwestern
Why,
Canadian
though?
coast. At 800 years old, the tree was
Damn.
a full 9 feet wide at the base, and the high quality of its
Ooh.
wood made it an unfortunate target for poachers.
now
On
we
a
see
routine
why.
stroll, park rangers had been
That was
baffled.
beautiful, though.
I never knew there was poachers for trees. I like, bro. You learn something new every day. I knew there was poachers for certain animals because like they used to like take the horn and shit. But for trees, I was like, man, it's a fucking tree. But I guess
To find the tree cut 80% of the way through. It seemed someone had attempted to steal the giant tree, but had given up. Rangers brought in professionals and had the tree safely felled to avoid it collapsing and crushing unlucky hikers, leaving it to decompose and feed the forest. But this was all part of the thieves' plan. With the tree felled
That's
safely,
crazy.
they
They
returned
came
and
back
stole
and
the
picked it.
whole thing. Speculation arose as to how the thieves were able to source the heavy-duty machinery necessary to transport the colossal tree away,
That's a big
but however they
ass
did,
fucking
it
tree.
was never seen again.
What?
Number
Wow, how
How
do you guys do that?
Bro, like I try to steal a piece of candy when I'm 5, I'm getting caught, and that's straight in pocket. These niggas is walking away with 20-ton logs and shit. Hey man,
Oh, I can't.
hey, if you got it, you stole it. Kudos to you. Staying hidden, never nobody ever found out. Hey man, hey.
Number 7. Enlightened by Thieves.
There's
No way
For
you stole.
Buddhists at a temple in Tacoma, Washington in 2015, enlightenment came, as usual, by letting go of material objects. Only this particular type of enlightenment was much more literal than usual, as it involved the loss of a 3,000
How?
pound, 12-foot tall copper monastery
How?
bell.
Oh my
Police were baffled as to how thieves managed the theft due to the bell's enormous weight and size.
And,
the
like,
temple abbot speculated that the people
3,000
who stole it
pounds.
wanted to make money, with no consideration for the significance of it and how important it is in the presence of Buddhism.
That's crazy.
Indeed, bells are commonly used to signify the beginning of meditation, making them highly sacred to Buddhist monks. The thieves likely melted the bell down to sell the
No
copper,
way.
or may have turned to the black market for a buyer. I doubt a pawn shop.
Who's just buying a big ass bell? You gotta melt that shit down. But
My
like,
thing is, they said they didn't know there was a significance behind it, but like, if you're going to a place that's
well, I don't
like
think they said that.
culture wise, yeah, they did.
He said they didn't know. They
Bring it
said
back.
I thought he said he stole it because they knew the like this part.
With no
think it was
consideration
back
for the
more.
significance of it,
That he
and how
didn't consider.
consider
it. Yeah.
Whatever,
I'm
same thing.
quickly melted
It's not the same thing because they knew, they just didn't consider it. There's a difference between not
Yeah.
knowing and not caring.
Yeah,
bell down to sell the copper, or may have turned to the black market for a buyer.
Whoever
I doubt-
bought that shit outright, if they didn't smell that shit, you're weird. Yeah, you just got a random big ass bell sitting there. The fuck you do? Ring it?
rich people.
But a pawn shop would accept
Niggas
a
be bored.
suspicious
Rich niggas be
3,000
bored.
pound religious bell. But sometimes a bargain's a bargain. After all, you never know what is gonna come through that door. Number 6. Brick by brick blasphemy. Christianity.
Do not tell me these niggas stole a whole church. Do not tell me
Oh
these
my
niggas
god,
stole a
brick
whole
by
church.
brick is crazy.
Also experienced pious plundering in 2008 when thieves made off with an entire church.
Oh my god, how do you even walk away with a church? I'm done. Because how? I need lessons 101 because
Hey, if you got away with it, shit. Cause where the fuck is you can't hide a building inside a building. So where the fuck is it at?
The holy building had stood in the village of Komorova since 1809 and was hauled off brick by brick. Initially, the
That's
theft went
crazy.
unnoticed, as the church wasn't being used at the time and was located in a remote area of the town. Church officials had been considering resuming use of the building, but that plan was dismantled before their very
Damn.
eyes. Of course, they could still gather in the open-air foundations of the
That's
building every
insane.
Sunday morning. In rural Russia, churches are targeted
They
more
broke
often than
that
you'd think.
bitch down. They didn't pick it up and take it. They said no.
what are you
brick
gonna
by
do
brick.
with those bricks? Please tell me.
Hey man, it's a brick off a church that was built in. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna prove that? You took a picture. You taking a brick off?
With the brick.
Just me taking this brick. Niggas got like mad pictures of them taking each piece of brick.
As religious icons and building materials can be sold off for a profit. I like to think it all comes down to foul play between rival churches.
That's
but you'll
insane.
have to ask the Pope. Number 5. A history of crime. In the 1980s, somewhere in Tel Aviv, Israel, Major Ari Yitzhaki was restoring a World War II Mustang fighter plane for the Israeli Air Force. The plane was parked up at a reserve airfield, waiting for transport to Israel's Air Force Museum. After fixing it up, Yitzhaki developed plans of his own for the vehicle. On an otherwise normal day, he flew the antique all the way to Sweden and sold it illegally for $331,000. 6 years later, the Israeli government finally tracked it down and retrieved
6 years
it.
later,
So at least this plane story has an uplifting ending. High flyer Yitzhaki, on the other hand, had a much more grounded fate. The terrestrial confines of a jail cell.
At least he got caught.
Number 4. A bridge too far.
I'm done. All right. This is taking it too far.
What do you gain?
Too far.
Who's buying a bridge? I don't understand. I don't get it, bro.
That's so crazy.
I don't get it.
Some people build bridges. Others burn them.
No, they
In
steal
rare
them,
cases,
clearly.
Some steal them. This was the case in 2012 when 2 men with little respect for history were arrested for stealing a 100-year-old bridge in China.
Wow.
The bridge was an easy target, as far as stealing an entire bridge goes,
Yeah.
because it was surrounded by construction sites and received very little foot traffic. Eventually, one of the bridge's few regulars attempted to stroll over the bridge and found that it no longer existed. A police investigation ensued, and after an eyewitness described seeing the culprits lingering near the bridge with a truck one night, the police were able to track them down. The thieves confessed that they'd used 2 cranes and 2 trucks to pick up and move the 16 huge stone pieces that made up the bridge. I just wonder if the bridge was sat pretty in a billionaire's garden before the thieves were caught.
Right.
Number 3. You wouldn't steal a ship.
Oh my
Some
God.
people just have a taste for the biggest loot. And I don't just mean kids stealing their parents' credit cards to pay for upgrades on Fortnite. In 2017, Somali pirates with tastes on the large side managed to hijack a fully loaded oil tanker. The ship, called the Ares 13,
That's some real deal
had
pirate
decided
shit.
to take a time and fuel-saving shortcut through what's known as the Socotra Gap. They soon regretted the shortcut after their ship got hijacked by local pirates. In a scenario reminiscent
Like,
I was about to say, why does that kind of sound like a movie or some shit?
well, yeah, that's the thing. Captain Phillips is, there's a movie about Somali pirates. You know what I'm saying? But like, y'all don't have people watching over the boat. Like, it's an oil tanker.
Right.
Like, you need niggas on the side of each. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because they gotta come up, right?
Yeah.
Come up. I'm shooting down. Pew pew pew. Get the fuck out. Pew pew pew. But like, hey, I mean, I guess they got jumped or something. I don't know. I just don't maybe I have to watch this movie to see how they actually pull this shit off. Cause just riding up to another boat,
and without
getting
no one
on
noticing.
it, yeah.
of a certain Tom Hanks film, ransom discussions soon began regarding both the crew and the ship's contents. Once the pirates realized the tanker was under the employ of prominent Somalian businessmen, who Somali pirates tend to avoid tussling with, they released the crew and later the ship without ransom. Despite being one of the biggest thefts of all time, the payout was nothing but deep water for the pirates. Number 2. The USA's underwater heist.
Stole a submarine?
In 1968, for reasons still unknown, Soviet submarine K-129 sank 16,000 feet to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, 1,600 miles northwest of Hawaii. At the time, Russian technology was unable to locate or retrieve the warhead-laden wreckage, but their Cold War rivals in the USA soon caught wind of the submarine's fate. The Americans weren't going to use this opportunity to get their hands on a Soviet submarine laden with potentially useful documentation, not to mention intact nuclear weaponry. To keep things hush-hush, they assigned the CIA, rather than the Navy, to the case.
Oh,
In
wow.
1974, with an inflation-adjusted equivalent of $4 billion spent, the CIA had built the Hughes Gomar Explorer. This essentially involved grafting a giant skill crane onto a ship to drag the submarine up to the surface. The procedure wasn't perfect, and parts of the submarine broke off during recovery and sank back down. But the chunk the CIA caught on their expensive fishing trip did indeed contain nuclear torpedoes, as well as some of the sailors' bodies. Inquiries about the operation, which was initially presented to the public as nothing more than a manganese mining operation, had a surprising cultural outcome too. Covering the tracks of the operation led to the development of the phrase, neither confirm nor deny. This is now known as the Glomar response, after the name of the recovery vessel.
Holy shit.
Before I reveal the biggest thing ever stolen, there are some honorable mentions that I'd be remiss not to acknowledge.
Okay, talk
While
to
not
me.
enormous in the bigger picture, a special hat belonging to Greg De Silva of Cape Town, South Africa was the largest of its kind. Made using 1,000 eggs, Greg owned the largest egg hat the world had ever seen. Tragically, Greg's eggs were stolen during a 2011 trip to Germany while he was hospitalized with heat stroke.
Wow.
The hard-boiled summer heat left him scrambled, and the theft
I'm done.
Some damn left him
him
scrambled.
no yolk. You can
No
only-
yolk.
Oh my god.
Hard-boiled summer heat left him scrambled,
Nope.
and the theft was no yoke. You can only imagine what the thief must have looked like making a quick getaway, presumably in a convertible. If that wasn't wacky enough for you in
Oh my
2017, a
God.
12-foot-tall inflatable gorilla with stylish shades designed to lure customers into a car dealership was deflated and stolen in Texas.
No,
While
what the hell are y'all gonna
undoubtedly
do with that?
humorous, the
Hey, man.
gorilla cost $10,000.
Damn!
And the thieves were never caught. This wasn't the first
Wow.
theft of its kind in the world of American dealerships, with an even bigger
Damn!
35-foot-tall inflatable gorilla being stolen in 2006. Harambe frowns down upon us
Oh
all.
my god.
Finally, there's the great Canadian maple syrup heist. This robbery took place over several
Not the
months at a
maple
facility in
syrup.
St. Louis de Blanford, Quebec, between 2011 and
Damn, they've been stealing it for that long?
In total, 3,000
Damn!
tons of maple syrup, or 18.7.
Oh my god! Jesus, y'all didn't know that was missing?
That's crazy.
That's OD. Hey, man.
Who's doing the bookkeeping? Because
Hey, listen. Hold up. I'm finna get into the syrup business. 18?
that's
$1 million
shit.
Canadian dollars worth was stolen. Adjusted for inflation, this suspected insider job was the most valuable heist in the Canadian history.
wow.
Damn.
Number 1. A mountain of crime. As far as earthly objects go, things don't get much bigger than
How the
mountains.
fuck do you steal
So
a
for
mountain?
thieves who take the phrase "go big or go home" a little too seriously, stealing a mountain is the logical conclusion. Locals from the Humta village in eastern India are slowly but surely bringing the aforementioned phrase to life by stealing the peak of the nearby mountain Humpa.
How?
Locals chip away the rock to sell to property developers and use the earnings to feed their families. The village doesn't have much else in terms of industry, so
I mean, I
people
give it
work
to them.
11 hours
Not
a
even
day
mad.
hewing the peak from a point into more of a stub. While
Damn.
this is in fact illegal, local authorities tend to turn a blind eye, as the mountain is one of the few sources of work in the area. A local
Damn.
businessman has even laid a claim of ownership upon the mountain in an attempt to remove the criminal edge from the operation. But the
They just tryna
authenticity of the
feed they
claim is
family,
questionable.
I mean, that is. I get this one. I get this one. You know what I'm saying? If it's to feed your family, it's not really too frowned upon.
But it's kind of frowned upon.
Kind of
yes.
frowned upon. It's like, hey, man.
Unless something changes, the locals will eventually have stolen an entire mountain.
Damn.
Impressive. Were you shocked by any of these sizable crimes?
That I ain't gonna lie. That maple syrup one got it.
The
Yeah,
biggest thing
for
you've
real.
ever had stolen. And more importantly, does this egg hat make me look fat?
Okay.
Let me know in the comments.
All right, bro.
I'm done.
But that was the biggest things ever stolen. If you guys enjoyed that, make sure you like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any future uploads.
yes.
And catch us in the next one.
Question. It's your
Question.
turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Question.
Did we ask favorite holiday?
I don't know. Let's do. Would you rather have $1 million today or $2.5 million over the course of 2 years? Questions. But all right, man, that'll be the end of it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and have a good one, man. Peace.